Hi there, Roger Connect, President, Universal Accounting Center, and I'm with Bill from Bottom Line Bookkeeping and Tax. He happens to be our primary editor of and the author for the Professional Tax Preparer program. So, Bill, kind of tell us what your role is with the Professional Tax course.
Well, now that it's already been written, that was a whole other undertaking, but I am the principal editor, and every year we have to update the PTP course because Congress just won't leave things alone. And so we have to keep making changes to our course because they keep making changes to the Internal Revenue Code, which is fine. You don't want to live in a world where nothing ever grows or develops or acknowledges, the changes in our society. So I love that they do that, but they certainly put us on our heels a little bit because every year we're having to find ways to restate things that we've already taught that have now been changed because of some rule that they've come up with. And the last 2 years especially have been full of those kinds of problems. And it's a vast job to update the tax course every year.
Well, I can definitely say that it's job security, not only for Bill in the context of tax updates and updating the curriculum, but it's job security as a tax professional because for the layperson, it's inhibited to stay on top of all these tax codes and laws and do your own tax returns oftentimes. And because of that frustration, they turn to a professional and have you do their tax returns. So that's important. So one of the things that I want to stress here is we begin quite early updating the tax curriculum. It's not just a week-long or weekend event. It's months and months of efforts every year to update the tax curriculum so that you have access to a very capable program. So with that idea in mind, I think it's important to point out that you started and built your own tax business.
Yeah, my qualifications for doing this job are not that I wrote the book and therefore I started a practice. It was the other way around. I had a tax practice. I had tax experience. That qualified me to write a tax curriculum. And I love that that's Universal Accounting's approach to this. They want a course that speaks on a level of individual tax preparers and teaches them to adapt that information to their business. And I think I'm uniquely qualified to be able to do that. And I love bringing that skill to bear in these updates because I look at it with an eye towards how is this going to affect my business and how will I be better for knowing this and how does this help me in the coming tax season to address the problems that my clients are going to have. And believe me, as a small business owner whose clients come back year after year, that's the best part of this job, by the way. I don't have to go out and look for new clients every year. I'm not selling hamburgers and hot dogs. I've got a steady clientele. It grows, it evolves. But as I'm looking at some of these new tax problems that the IRS has presented us that we have to find a way to interpret and to explain, I already have in mind certain of my clients that this is going to affect. And so it's not just a facts and numbers business, it's a people business. And I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, it affects each of us personally, and I appreciate you pointing that out. Now, if you were to say to someone, a layperson, an individual, what the tax program is, the Professional Tax Preparer program, what would you describe it as?
Well, I'll tell you what, when we were getting ready to write the PTP course the first time, we looked at some other courses, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that our course is the most thorough, the most complete. It looks at everything, and not in a surface way. And so we cover, I think, more ground than any other tax course, and we do it in a way where we're expecting you to not only just learn some facts and pass a test, we're going to give you some tax forms and say, now, do this in a tax environment, and let's see if you understand what you're learning here. And I really think it's second to none as far as tax curricula is how you're supposed to say that.
That's right. That's right. Well, one of the things that I would add to that is the fact that rather than just seeing the tax program as a how-to, and it's just a whole bunch of videos or here's best practices, it's literally a hands-on curriculum. And it's meant to give you not only just the education, but also the application of it. So you get to experience it. Mm-hmm. And that helps in many ways with the retention. You visually see the instruction, you read through the manuals, now you do the practice, and through through that experience, I think you retain better the information. And then lastly, because of our being a post-secondary school, we're able to then test you and certify you, in fact, as a professional tax preparer. So it's clearly to state that you are proficient in the tax planning and preparation for individual and business tax returns. And I think that's phenomenal. So here's the next question. We've got people that for various reasons look at and enroll in the Professional Tax Preparer program.
Mm-hmm.
One of them might be someone that is looking for employment. They're just merely looking for some way to certify their skills so that they're a competent employee to find gainful employment. What would you say to that individual?
Again, I don't think you can find a better course. It covers every tax form, every type of tax preparation problem. It qualifies you to be somebody else's employee in a tax environment if that's what you want. It also, and I will add that I think this is maybe the most important thing of all, it qualifies you to understand the tax code and experience the use of that code in tax forms and so forth, so that when you want to take the enrolled agent exam, and I am an EA, you've got the skill set and the experience to be able to do that. I'm not sure any other course is able to prepare you like that. And I think, you want to get a job working for another tax preparer in his office, show up with your EA in hand, and why would he not look at you?
Yep. So as a professional tax preparer, having completed the curriculum, the other question is what if I'm interested in starting my business? Obviously, I can use this program to train my staff or hire someone that's trained this way. Yeah. How does it benefit me when I'm starting and building my own tax business?
Well, it's told from the point of view of a business owner. We assume that that's who you're going to be. Certainly, you can take the tax knowledge and apply that as an employee to somebody else's practice. But I think the implication all throughout the course is that you're going to do this on your own. You're going to start a business. And so we present not only the tax knowledge that you need to do that, but the business knowledge that you need to do that as well. And the marketing knowledge. Job one, if you start a business, is where do we get my clients? Where are you going to find people who want to do business with you? I don't know of another tax course that even addresses that.
Yep.
And we have a whole module on that, and looking at expanding it. I think that's critically important, and that's something that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, so basically the breakup of the Professional Tax Preparer program is modules 1 and 2 address individual returns, the third module business returns, and the fourth that of starting and building a successful tax business. Mm-hmm. So obviously, having been part of that core group that created the curriculum, now being the lead person and editor of the updates that we do, what are final thoughts that you have to share with everyone related to the Professional Tax Preparer program?
I just think it's very thorough, it's very complete, and because I was a practicing tax professional when I wrote it, I understood what needed to be learned and what needed to be known in order to work in that environment professionally, not only as a tax practitioner, but as a business owner, and that asks questions. How do I manage my employees? Where do I get new clients? How do I conform with the IRS regulations that are asked of me as a business owner? And I love that it's that complete and thorough of a curriculum, and that we actually have the experience to back that up. And we still do this every year. We still are getting sort of ambushed by the IRS, where we have to change that and keep that current. And one of the things that we're looking at doing in the coming year is to update the marketing and the business application part of it as well. So I don't think that there's a better, more complete tax training package on the market.
Excellent, well said. So if you want to become a professional tax preparer, and if you want to actually be proficient, competent, confident with your abilities in both business and individual tax planning and preparation, the Professional Tax Preparer program is for you. Just remember this: if it's about tax, it is universal. Take care, you guys.